Hi there. Rahul is preparing for an upcoming tennis championship. Last night, he had asked his father to buy some tennis balls for him. This morning, he found a bag full of the best tennis balls in his living room. Some of these balls were green in color and the others were red. This motivated him further to win the championship. So he quickly opened the bag and without looking, he randomly picked out one ball. What is the probability that Rahul picked out a green tennis ball? To answer this question, we need to understand the meaning of the word probability. In mathematics, probability comes into play whenever there are multiple possible outcomes and there is no specific way to accurately predict the outcome. Let's take the tennis ball scenario for example. If we pick out a ball randomly, we won't be able to predict accurately whether that ball will be red or green. It was picked out randomly after all. This is why we call this a random experiment. However, we can determine the chance of the ball being green in color using some numbers and the basic concept of proportions. And this measure of chance is what we call probability. Before we proceed, let's establish some more terms. The action of picking out a ball is called an event, and the color of the ball we pick out is known as the outcome of the event. The bag in which the balls are kept is called the sample space. Now, the question is, how do we determine the probability of an event taking place? Let's say that this bag has 10 balls. If 3 of them are green in color, then there's a pretty low chance of picking up a green ball. But if 7 of them are green in color, then there's a good chance that we pick up a green ball. The greater the number of green balls, the higher will be the probability of picking up a green ball, right? Now, from the point of view of probability, picking up a green ball is a favorable outcome. So we can say that probability is directly proportional to the number of favorable outcomes. Okay, now what if we didn't touch the green balls and added some more red balls instead? How would it affect the chance? Well, more red balls means lesser chances of picking out a green ball. But we didn't do anything to the existing green balls, did we? All we did was increase the number of balls in the bag. From the point of view of probability, the number of balls in the bag accounts for the total number of outcomes, and probability of any event is inversely proportional to the total number of outcomes. Combining the above equations, we get the formula for calculating the probability of any event as the number of favorable outcomes divided by the total number of outcomes. Generally, we conduct multiple random experiments and note the outcome of each trial. Using this data, we calculate the probability of a particular event occurring as the number of trials in which the event happened divided by the total number of trials. This is what we call empirical probability. Let's take another random experiment where we toss a coin 100 times. At the end of the experiment, we see that heads came up 55 times and tails came up 45 times. Then, the probability of getting a head is given by the expression number of tosses in which heads occurred divided by the total number of tosses. Substituting the values, we get the probability as 0.55. Similarly, the probability of getting a tail is 0.45. Note that the value of probability of both the events lies between 0 and 1. In fact, the probability of any event lies between 0 and 1, both included. When the probability is 0, the event is said to be impossible, and when it is 1, the event is said to be certain. Also notice that adding the probabilities of the two events H and T is equal to 1. These two are standard properties of probability. Great. Now Rahul is back to his practice. You guys go ahead and practice these formulas to find the probabilities of an event.